Hello, my nerdlings! If you're new here, my name is Nikki. Welcome to my channel where we get nerdy. If you are not new here, I am so sorry that it has taken me so long to upload you a new video. Last time I was on the channel, I was very much pregnant. I can now announce that 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks early, a little boy decided to make his appearance into the world. So Leon is officially here. That's the first bit. Second bit, Nikolai says hi. And I'm here with a book haul. Because why not? I do have 2 other books that are en route to me that I was going to wait till they got here, but they were just taking too long. So we're just going to do these. And then when those other ones come, I will do them whenever I can. Yeah. I'm going to grab a drink because it's going to be a bit for going through this pile. All right. Got our drink. So, first book I have is The Orphan House by Anne Bennett. This was given to me at my baby shower for something to read while I'm in the hospital. It follows, there's like 2 timelines. One of them is 1934 and one of them is present day. And it's all about 2 women uncover the secrets of the past in this emotional and poignant story about there's an orphanage and this guy is trying to figure out his past, and there's only one person alive that would know what happened in the orphanage and all of that stuff. But she's, of course, a little old lady in a nursing home now. So there's that book. Not what I would typically pick up with historical fiction, but we'll give it a shot. We never shoot down a book. Sorry for the road noise. I'm never gonna get used to it. Next we have The Storm Dancer by Jay Kristoff. This came out in 2012, so it's not new. It's just after reading Empire of the Vampire, now I kind of want to read his backlist. So, the first in an epic fantasy series introducing an unforgettable heroine, a stunningly original dystopian steampunk world with a flavor of feudal Japan. So, we'll see how that goes. It looks really interesting. It's kind of a really pretty cover. And then there's like a griffin up there, which I didn't realize griffins were a thing in Japan. But then again, it's fantasy, so griffins can be anywhere. Next, we have a classic, Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice. Of course, that could be debatable. If some people want to consider this a classic, I would. It's Anne Rice. So, I watched the movie when I was a kid, and it scared the bejesus out of me. I watched the movie during my bed rest, and yep, like, it didn't scare me, more of it broke my heart, because there's a scene that every time it makes me sad. Anyways, after reading Empire of the Vampire, I was in the mood for vampire stories, even though I still haven't read since I finished Empire of the Vampire, because I've been on like a book hangover. So that's going to be read at some point. Probably I'll save it for October, for spooky season. And that squeaky sound you hear, that's baby. Hold on. Sorry, he lost his pacifier. So, he was a sad baby. Next, we have Almost There by Farah Roshan. So, I know I said I would never do another Disney Twisted Tale because I had such a bad experience with the Beauty and the Beast one and the Hercules one. But Tiana is one of my favorite princesses. Like, Tiana, Mulan, and Moana. Not in order. Just those are like my top 3 princesses. So I had to pick it up. The whole basis is that Tiana makes a deal with the Shadow Man. And we got a black and this really pretty emerald green on the spine. Dr. Facilier. Yeah. So what if Tiana made a deal with Shadow Man? I'm excited. So there's that one. Next, we have another retelling. This is the first book in the Queen's Counsel series by Emma Terrio, I think is how you pronounce it. Rebel Rose. This says, what if happily ever after was only the beginning? Torn between two worlds, neither of which she truly belongs to. It's 1789, and France is on the brink of a revolution. Belle has broken the Enchantress's curse, restoring the beast to his human form and bringing life back to their castle in the I can never say this word. Principality. I suck at it. It's one of those words, like some people is cinnamon, other ones it's ambulance. For me, it's that word. Of Avion. But in Paris, the fires of change are burning, and it's only a matter of time before the rebellion arrives on their doorstep. Ooh. I'm not going to read all of this synopsis because it seems to be quite spoilery. But the last blurb says, this captivating new series reimagines Disney's princesses as rulers in their own right, woven together throughout history by a magical force known as the Queen's Counsel. Which, I like the idea of that. So we got black and gold for a naked book. And these really pretty rose red end pages. So, there's that one. And the sole reason I bought the first book, because I bought the second book first, is the second book called Feather and Flame by Olivia Blackburn. This is Mulan's story. Pretty purple end pages, black cover, and a silver spine. The war is over, and now renowned hero Mulan spends her days in her home village training a militia of female warriors. The peace is a welcome one, and she knows it must be protected. And then there's other stuff going on that I'm not going to read because I don't want to spoil the story for myself or for you all. This fierce reimagining of a girl who became a warrior blends fairy tale lore and real history with a Disney twist. So, I'm excited. So the reason I bought this, I didn't even know my store had this book, okay? Until one of my coworkers sent me a Snapchat saying, hey, do you know where this book is? Because it's YA, of course, and me being the YA person, I didn't even know we had it. It was a new release ish. It was 2021, but like still fairly new. The author was in the store and she signed our copies of what we had. So I, of course, had to go buy it. It says, Find Your Flame. But I'm excited. I really honestly need to do a book vlog where I read all of the Mulan retellings I own. Because we got a few of them, right? Next, another one from the beloved Anne Rice is The Mummy, or Ramses the Damned. I know that the Mummy the movie is not based off from this. Pretty sure. Because the Mummy movie is based off it ends with a fet sound, but I can never pronounce it completely, so I don't want to butcher it and be offensive. But having drunk the elixir of life, he is now Ramses the Damned, doomed forever to wander the earth, desperate to quell hungers that will never be satisfied, for food, for wine, for women. Reawakened in opulent Edwardian London, he becomes Dr. Ramsay, expert in Egyptology. He also becomes the close companion of voluptuous, adventurous Julie Strafford, heiress to a vast shipping fortune and the center of a group of jaded aristocrats with appetites of their own to appease. But the pleasures Ramses enjoys with Julie cannot soothe him. Searing memories of his last awakening at the behest of Cleopatra, his beloved queen of Egypt, burn in his immortal soul. And though he is immortal, he is still all too human. His intense longing for his great love, undiminished over the centuries, will force him to commit an act that will place everyone around him in the gravest danger. Sounds so interesting. I have, as we know, I am a mythology kind of buff. Like, I've read all of the Percy Jackson, all of the Heroes of Olympus. I'm working on Trials of Apollo. I like mythology, and I love ancient times. And during my bed rest, I watched a lot of documentaries and reawakened my love for ancient Egypt. So I can't wait to read that one. Let me check on baby real quick, and then we'll continue. So next we have probably the 3 newest books. First being Master of Iron by Trisha Levenseller. Second book in the Bladesmith duology. I have the first one. It's way up here. It's called Blade of Secrets. I haven't read it. But pretty end pages. Some blacksmithing tools. I don't know what they're called. That's obviously a hammer, but I don't know what that thingy is. Mainly because I knew it was going to be a duology, and I like to binge duologies, one after the other, so I just waited. So I can't tell you what this one's about without spoiling the first one. I know. Let me grab the first one, and I'll be able to tell you what it's about. This is the first one. And we've got 18-year-old Ziva prefers metal to people. She spends her days tucked away in her forge, safe from society and the anxiety it causes her, using her magical gift to craft unique weapons imbued with power. So, she is a blacksmith with social anxiety that's magical. Okay, I like it. Trisha Levenseller, obviously a favorite on this channel. I have read Daughter of the Pirate King, Daughter of the Siren Queen, Warrior of the Wild, and I just have these 2 and The Shadows Between Us of her work that I have not read. And then I will completely have read everything she has ever put out. So this obviously is it's the same character, just there's something else going on, and I don't know what's going on, and I don't want to find out until I finish reading the first book. So, which might be soon. I could do a reading vlog for that. That would totally work. Next, we have Babel An Arcane History by R.F. Kuang. R.F. Kuang is one of those authors that I have always wanted to pick up their work, but I've never picked up the Poppy War trilogy. And then when I found out they were coming out with an entirely new book, I'm just like, we're going to start with that. So we have a black cover, and there's a embossing that is the author's initials. I don't think you really can see it on the camera. Wait, maybe. There you go. And then silver on the spine. From award-winning fantasy author R.F. Kuang comes Babel, a historic fantasy epic that grapples with student revolutions, colonial resistance, and the use of language and translation as dominating tool of the British Empire. 1828 is when it's set. Can powerful institutions be changed from within, or does revolution always require violence? Ooh, sounds really good. Oh, there's a map for the city of Oxford. But I have seen a lot of people mentioning this on Booktube, and it's super hyped up, and I'm just hoping it's everything that the hype leads it to believe. So there's that one. And then lastly, funny story behind this book. It's called The Final Strife by Sarah L. Arifi. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. I don't mean to. I'm just terrible with pronunciations. So this is the beautiful end pages. It's the map of the world. It's got this beautiful, like, linen looking cover. Like, it's just hardcover, but it just looks like linen. And then it says The Final Strife in, like, this rose gold color. The whole reason I picked up this book was my friend Alicia sent me a Snapchat of the synopsis and said, how would you write a shelf talker on this? So in Barnes & Noble, when you go in, you have those little plastic things that have like a blurb about the book that somebody's written out. That's a shelf talker. In case you were kind of confused as what I was referring to. And I read the description, and it sounds really good. So I'm like, what's that title? Like, you need to show me the title, because now I'm really intrigued and I need to know this book. So, in this first book of a visionary fantasy trilogy with its roots in the mythology of Africa and Arabia, 3 women band together against a cruel empire that divides people by blood. Red is the bloodline of the elite, of magic, of control. Blue is the blood of the poor, the workers, the resistance. Clear is the blood of slaves, the crushed, the invisible. And this sounds so much like Red Rising that's like what I compared it to for her. I'm like, that kind of sounds like Red Rising. So I'm super excited for this book. She's a chonker. Oh, wait, hold up. We're going to take the dust jacket off for a second. So this is the front end pages. It says the Warden's Empire, Northern Region, right? The back end pages, the Warden's Empire, Southern Region. So we got a big old map. Awesome. I didn't realize it was 2 big maps. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out how many pages this story is, because I think it has Oh, there's a short story that accompanies it in the back. And there's a glossary. Oh, that's helpful. I love when there's glossaries in fantasy books. But we don't need to include the glossary for our page count. This is 577 pages. So obviously not as big as some of the other books I have read this year, but still a thick book, and I'm excited. So reading on the author's bio, it says, The Final Strife is a debut novel, the first part of a trilogy inspired by Ghanaian folklore and Arabian myths. I'm excited. We never learned about Arabian myths, or definitely any African folklore other than ancient Egypt in school. So having to be able to spread that diversity and reading is going to be super fun. So that is my book haul of I don't know how many books. I got a squeaker. I'm not sure if you can hear him. But comment down below if you've read any of these, or if you want to read any of these. Tell me what you think. Don't forget to like the video if you did. Subscribe if you wanna. So until next time, remember, you are loved and you are valid.